Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Rune Words. So today we're going to be looking at an interesting rune word, and it is the rune word Lionheart. Lionheart is an interesting rune word because it's not very expensive. And what I mean by not very expensive is it doesn't really have any high runes in it at all. And I honestly would struggle to call them mid runes because they're rather low on the mid rune scale. And I feel like this is an armor that most people can make relatively easily. It is an armor that has a level 41 requirement, and level 41 is also very low. So not only do we have a pretty decent armor that can be made in just about any base that you might want it in. I mean, you probably would want it at a higher defense base, but you don't necessarily need it in a higher defense base. And then there's some reasons for that, and we'll go over that later. And of course, it's a relatively low level as well, which is also very nice. And I mean, just going over the runes that are in it, Hell runes are fairly easy to come by. You usually won't have any trouble with Hell runes. Lum runes are not rare at all. I usually end up having like 4 or 5 lum runes just sitting in my stash, and foul runes don't really have a lot of uses. And even though they're a little bit more rare than a hell or a lum rune, I still tend to usually have at least 3 or 4 foul runes just sitting in my stash. So this rune word is definitely something that would be easy for you to make, and it definitely seems like something that is nice to make as well. And we're going to go over the stats now. So with a level requirement of level 41, it's not bad at all. It does only have an enhanced defense of 0. So you're probably going to want to find an armor that has a decent armor value on it. This one in particular has a 15% enhanced defense, and the reason why is because it is a superior base. So keep that in mind. Now, it has 20% enhanced damage on it, which is very nice. It's not a huge number there, but if you are a melee or a ranged character, it is going to beef up your damage a little bit, which is certainly nothing to shake a stick at. We have plus... We have, I don't know why 13 defense is on there. That is strange. There shouldn't be 13 defense on there. It could be something wrong with me importing the item over. It has 25 to strength on it. It has 15 to dexterity, 20 to vitality, 10 to energy, 50 to life. And so, I mean, just right off the bat there, you see a huge bonus to your strength pool, a huge bonus to your dex, a huge bonus to your vitality, a huge bonus to your energy. I mean, in general, you're looking at a rather large amount of life there. Now, it's going to vary depending on each character because each character gets a different amount of life per vitality point. So as you get your vitality, each character is going to benefit from that 20 slightly differently. But but suffice it to say, it's at least going to be somewhere around 75 to 100 life depending on your character, and that's not bad at all. So I mean, we've got a couple things going on here. We've got the strength, which is going to make it easier to equip other items. We've got the dexterity, which is going to beef up your block chance. We've got the life, which is going to increase your healthiness, your survivability. We've got the energy, which is going to increase your mana pool, which on a necromancer is literally 20 mana. So 10 energy is 20 mana, and each character is going to get a different amount from that as well. We also have just the raw life, so the 50 life. And then on top of that, we've got all resistance is 30. So as if, the amazing, like, pretty much, 10 all with, like, with some bonus on the strength and vite and dex. It's a really nice, healthy amount of stats, essentially, with all resistance is 30%, and then the negative requirements, too. And the negative requirements plus the plus strength really makes me think of a character that's going to need a low strength build. So like at level 41, this could be used for a low strength build character. Put this in like something that already has low strength on it. Put your hell, your lum, and your foul in there, and then you get 25 strength on top of the low, the negative 15% requirements, and the all resistance is 30 is definitely going to help you out a little bit there. And then of course you've got all the other stats as well: the vitality, the strength, the dex. I mean, it's not like the most amazing armor in the world. It's not going to beat out a fortitude or a a chains of honor or anything like that. It doesn't have plus to skills, but for a level 41 barbarian, level 41 paladin, for a level 41 Amazon, for a level 41 assassin that's using kicks, or maybe a level 41 druid, this armor doesn't seem terrible. And it's definitely something that can be made fairly easily by just about everyone. It's an armor that I think has passed me by a couple times, that I haven't really thought about it right off the top of my head, but I kind of wish that I had, because all resistance is 30 with all those stats and life and dex, and it's not bad. I could definitely see using this on an Amazon, almost specifically. The enhanced damage, the stats, especially because it has strength and dex, which is what you really need on an Amazon to wear bows and things like that. It would give me the ability to use my bows earlier. The plus energy would come in handy because Amazons tend to be very mana intensive, despite having very little mana. And of course the all resistances is going to be welcome, because without the shield slot, I'm going to be hurting for resistances. Using a two-handed bow. And it's not to say that other characters couldn't use this armor, but I really don't see why any character in the game wouldn't get good use out of this armor, at least for a little while, until they got something better. I mean, granted, it doesn't have increased attack speed like Treachery, and it doesn't have faster cast like Stealth. But hopefully by the time you've gotten to level 41, you've gotten a bunch of faster cast equipment from other pieces, and you've gotten your general setup going. And same thing goes for increased attack speed. Hopefully by level 41, you've gotten most of that in place. And if you are planning to switch to increased attack speed, you're probably going to go to a Treachery. And it's interesting. I'm actually looking at this armor and I'm thinking, hey, this might make a pretty decent armor for a Blade Fury assassin at level 41. It's too bad that I've already finished my Blade Fury assassin. She's pretty much done. She needs end game equipment at this point, it's kind of sad because I had all the runes for this. I could have made this at any point, and she could have been rocking that 20% ED with the stats and the all res, and she could have been a lot better off than she was up to when she got her next armor, which was now she's using 3-socketed Natalia's with 3 40% ED jewels in it, which is pretty nice, and that's a lot better than 20% ED, of course. But this one would have been a nice little stopgap measure in between that. And eventually she'll be upgrading to a Fortitude once I can find myself a low rune, and that will cap her off for her armor, and eventually I'll just have to work my way towards a Phoenix Shield, which is the end of her equipment. But all in all, just final thoughts on this armor. It seems like a really solid choice for a level 41 character. Even if you're not melee, even if you're not ranged, it's all resistances. It's very easy stat points. I mean, you get strength, dex, vite, and energy, and as well as a raw amount of life added as well. And I feel like a lot of characters could use this very easily between the levels of probably like level 41 up to like level 60 something, until eventually they upgrade to any other armor that is a higher level armor, ones that might be more specific to your character's end game goal. And there's tons of armors out there that fit that role. So a very good stopgap armor. Obviously not going to be an end game armor. At level 41, it's not early game armor either, and I think it will do you really well probably for around 20 to 30 levels. If you put it on exactly at level 41 and you used it probably for about 20 to 30 levels, it would do you just fine until you manage to get yourself something else like Chains of Honor or Enigma. And the very interesting thing about this is that if you are a character who's planning on using Enigma, there's a very good chance you're going to go with a low strength build because Enigma has such a huge amount of strength on it, right? Well, Lionheart has strength on it too, with negative requirements, which almost fits the same exact bill, and it just kind of makes me think that if you were working toward an Enigma, which is higher than Lionheart, you could use Lionheart until you get to Enigma, because it would give you the strength, and it also has the negative requirements, which means it would be easier to use, and you could use this until you get the strength from Enigma. And then once you plop your Enigma on, obviously take the Lionheart, maybe throw it on your Merc or something. I don't know, but for the most part, it's a stopgap armor. And I was also thinking about this because it has ED and strength on it. You could put it on a mercenary temporarily so that your mercenary could use the your Insight Colossus Fulge, perhaps, which I believe is 200 strength. And you'll find a lot of the times that your mercenary does not quite have the strength to use his new shiny Insight Colossus Fulge because it is 200 strength. This has 25 strength on it. So you could potentially use that as a stopgap measure for your mercenary to allow him to use the Colossus Fulge until he gets the strength naturally, or you find another solution. And it's it's a stopgap armor. It really is. It's an in the middle mid-level stopgap armor, and I think that's exactly what it gets used for on both characters and mercenaries. It's very nice, but it's not going to be anybody's end game armor. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.